Today in the V-Strom garage, we're going to be changing brake fluid and clutch fluid. So one of the first things I like to do is level the brake reservoir up. It's kind of slanted down here. So I just grab my 8mm wrench, break these loose, level it up the best I can. Snug them back up temporarily. Alright. Now I can get a better reading on the reservoir window. Okay, now we can go try to find some old rags. We're just going to kind of drape around the plastic in the tank in case we spill anything. If you do get a little bit on the plastic or the tank, just wipe it off quick and maybe get a little damp rag and wipe it, and you can put some wax on it later. Alright, so we got a rag down. And go ahead and take our reservoir cap off. These screws are small, don't lose them, drop them. And when you pop this cap off, you got the cap. And you got your little, this is going to have brake fluid on it, so you don't drip on the paint. Best to have like a little paper towel or something you can wipe it off with. Okay. This is probably the first time the brake fluid's been flushed in this bike. I got this 2015 back the end of spring there. And yeah, it only had like 2,600 miles on it. Got about a little over, almost 5,400 miles on it now. But yeah, it's probably the original from back in 2015. I believe the guy that I bought it from bought it new in June of 2016. But yeah, so it's probably original, so that's the reason I'm going to go ahead and change it. So now, grab my mighty vac. I'm going to suck out the old fluid out of the reservoir. Now once you get this thing empty, don't hit your brake lever because you're going to get air in the line. Alright, so we'll get that sucked out of there. And this bike requires .4 brake fluid. So we're going to go ahead and top that off. And for bleeding purposes, I'm going to put it right up towards the top. You want to be able to suck probably, I'd say probably 4 or 5 reservoirs full. Start with a caliper that's furthest away from the reservoir, which on this will be your left side. Pull our rubber cover off from the bleeder. Should be an 8mm. Yep. Alright, so we're going to take our mighty vac, we're going to pump up some pressure. We're going to keep squeezing this thing as we break this loose. And we're going to watch the fluid flow. And don't want to run that reservoir empty. It's a lot easier when you got two people, but alright, so we're just going to do a little bit. We're going to tighten it back up. And I'm going to set this on something. And we'll go ahead and check the reservoir, see how far it's come down. Okay, not really too much, so we're going to continue sucking some more out. Again, always make sure you got pulling vacuum on this thing when you crack this thing loose. Otherwise you can get air in the lines. So just keep pumping. Alright, we'll check the reservoir again. Yeah, we've only about halfway down. We'll dump back off real quick. Alright, vacuum, break it loose. Okay, one more. Okay, so check the reservoir again. About halfway down again. Top it off. And after this one, we'll go ahead and dump the old fluid out into it. Let's get an old water bottle or something and dump it into. Alright. Yeah, I just try to clear the line a little bit before I pull the cap off so it doesn't drip all over the place. Alright, so I got about 3 reservoir fulls through the left side. Now I'm going to go to the right side of the bike and probably just do maybe 2, maybe 3 more reservoirs. Alright, so the same thing with the left side of the bike. Pop our bleeder rubber cap off. Grab our 8mm wrench. Alright, we'll get a pressure up. And break it loose. Again, make sure your reservoir is full. A little tedious, a little time consuming, but not a hard job to do at all. Alright, so check the reservoir. Halfway down, top it off. Alright, so I'll check the reservoir again. I'll do that a few more times and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we'll go ahead and bleed the clutch now. So I went ahead and opened up the reservoir already, sucked out all the old fluid, made sure everything was clean in there, put some new fluid in, topped it off, and now we'll go ahead and pull our rubber cap off from our clutch slave cylinder here. Again, 8mm wrench. Alright, crack it open. Yeah, sometimes when you're doing that, you'll have that thing pop off. Just make sure you get the wrench closed real quick. Never had any problems with it, but you don't want to leave it open. And check the reservoir. Yeah, when you're doing your brake fluid, clutch fluid, and stuff like that, different manufacturers, they'll make different colored ones, like blue colored brake fluid, or blue, red and blue and stuff like that. So it's nice to use those, you know, one time use blue, next time use red. That way you'll know when you get all the old fluid out. But I had this .4 already here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it up. I tend to bleed everything just because I can, usually once every year, year and a half. It's probably more than it needs, but it's cheap, easy to do. Yeah, the clutch line isn't as long as the brake lines because it doesn't have to go through all the ABS and stuff like that. So I usually just do a couple reservoir fulls. Okay, so this will be the last one for this one. Alright, so that should be good for the clutch. We'll double check, make sure the lever feels correct. Well, that's what I said, I've never had it not. Everything feels good. So we'll go ahead and top off the level on the clutch fluid and button it back up. So everything's buttoned up. Got all of our levels set. So we'll call this job done. So one of our next videos I'll probably be doing is I'll be installing a external fuse block on here to run all the accessories off from, so we don't have to tap into the factory wiring. So hopefully the next month and a half we'll get that video going, and yeah, we'll put our LED hand guards on, hook up all the wiring for all the heated gear, get that off from the battery, and yeah, we'll hook up a few other accessories. So yeah, it'll probably be another month and a half. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching the video.